Hello to you and welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvain Rochon from homestudiologic.com, and today I want to talk about panning. I was taught that when you're panning some stereo files, let's say you've got two guitars, one has been recorded quite the same but on different takes. You do a hard left and a hard right. And when you have a mono track, you can decide while you're doing your static mix if you want this track to be on the left, middle, or the right, and do a hard left or a hard right when it's the case where you want to move this file. Today, I'm going to show you a different approach. I'm not telling you it's the way to go. I'm just telling you that this move actually works for me. So it's not about telling you what to do. It's about telling you what I do, and it works pretty good for me. So let's move on to Logic, and I have a song that I'm working on right now. It's an instrumental that me and my wife did, and I'm preparing myself to mix it. So let's move on to Logic, and I'll show you what I do. All right, so now we're in Logic. I'm just going to move my microphone here so that you can hear me better. All right, so we're done. I'm going to go at the final part. The reason why is that the final part, there's a lot of instruments playing at the same time, and I want to show you what I do. Well, first of all, let me show you what I do in a case of pianos and keys. In this song, at the end, I've got my piano track, which is the piano track that leads the full song, and I added some electric piano at the end, which is a mono track. They're all mono tracks. And you want to make sure that they're heard, because basically what they're doing, even if they are played differently, they're playing at the same time, so it creates a level effect. It gives you more level, even though they are played differently. But I've got a little trick that I'll show you what I do, and it's all about separating the instrument from the middle, if it makes any sense. So I'll solo the track, and you can listen and you can judge for yourself. So technically, I've got the master piano track, which is in the middle. I've got one electric piano that is also playing fingering style if you want. And I also have another electric piano with a different sound that is actually just chording. And I want to make sure that the three of them are heard in my mix. So this is what I do. It's not loud enough. I'm just going to increase its volume here. So now you can see that I've separated them. So they're not only playing in the middle, the three of them. So I'm not doing a hard left and a hard right. I'm just taking the instrument and just pushing it aside just a little bit so that it's heard and it's present in the mix. So if we put the band and we play the same part, you'll definitely hear that all three of them are heard. Now you'll say, well, you didn't hear the actual three instruments before with the band. So let's undo what I did. So let's remove this, press play. All right, let's redo what I did. Yes, it's subtle, but when you do this all across your mix, it really makes a difference. The end result is a lot better because you're able to hear every instrument. So let's go to the keys. I've got a strings that's happening during that portion, which is right here. And it's right in the middle. So let's press play and concentrate on that string and how we can bring that string to be more effective while being able to hear it better. So just giving a -18 on the left side brought that string a little bit more forward. You can hear it better. And that makes a huge difference. I do have some other, like for example here. This is a perfect example. This is a arpeggio synth. And if you look at the track, you can easily see it's not mono, it's stereo. So the question is, do you pan it, yes or no? And the perfect answer right now would be no, you don't. It's a stereo track. But let's see. Let's listen to it and see what it does. So really, it's showing you that it's a stereo track, but if you listen to the echo, it's actually not going left and right. So technically, it sounds pretty much in the middle. So now the question is, do we keep it that way, or we move it aside just a tiny bit for it to be heard? So let's listen to it and see what we do. Now, when you're doing some panning, you want to be fair. So if you're panning an instrument on the left side in the same group, you probably want to pan the other one on the other side. But in this example here, that string that is panned on the left isn't playing. So technically, that rule doesn't apply for this section. So now your question is, should I pan it or leave it exactly like this right in the middle? right now I'm hearing that I should give it a pan, and I will go on the right side and just remove it from the middle, because in the middle there's a snare drum, there's the bass drum, there's the bass. And in this song, the bass is quite incredible. I did a pretty good job. And I want to make sure that nothing else is building up. So let's press play, and I'll push it on the right side. I can hear it better. I can feel its presence in the mix without giving it some level. Because I don't think that the level is an issue right here. It's at the right level. It just needs to be featured. It just needs to be heard. So let's move on. I've got this track here, was actually playing at the same time as the other one. And I believe this one also, the wave file shows a left and right. So the question is it really in stereo? Let's listen to it. So you can definitely hear that it's right in the middle, but it's going from left to right. So we're not going to be panning this track. So in the full context of the mix. You don't want it to be dominant. You can easily hear it while the other instruments are playing, so we're just going to leave that track alone and move on. Now, I do have some guitars. Now, guitar is a different story, because I wouldn't say most of the time, but 80% of the time, there's always two tracks that are being recorded. Rhythm, or not a solo, I would say, but if it's a rhythm track, most of the time, the guitar player will actually record a left and a right. So two tracks that are playing basically the same thing, but since it's two different takes, they sound different. In other instances, this guitar player might be using one amp for one track and changing amp for the other track so that they really sound different. But in this case, what you want to do is to fill up the stereo image. That's what we're doing. We're filling up the stereo image, and it's probably a good idea to do a hard left and a hard right in this case. So let's listen to this first guitar track, which is over here, and let's see what we do. So this guitar track has only one copy. So this guitar player only made one. So technically, we want it in the middle. But the question is, are we hearing it? Do we need to give it a little swamp on the side just to make sure it's understood properly? At the same time, you have to remember we have some keys happening right here. So you want to be fair. And if, like, this one's been moved on the right, this one is right in the middle. So technically, if I'm going to move this, the panning of this track, I'm going to go on the left just to complement the key. So let's try it. All right. I'm just going to go in the context of the full mix at this particular area. that's about it on this track. Do you realize how we started hearing it on the left side? Just a little bit. It's not a big move. It's not a big change, but it is a change that we need to do to make sure that this guitar is heard in the full context of the mix. So let's move on to do two other guitars. Those are those are the same track being played twice. And it's at the end where there's a lot of instrument playing at the same time. All right, so I'm tempted to give it maybe a 0.5. I call it a raise. We'll give it a 0.5 dB raise. So minus 14.5. All right, and I'm going to do a hard left and a hard right. Now, one thing that I recently got aware of when you're doing a hard right and a hard left, I saw someone doing a almost hard left and almost hard right. And that person said, because when you're doing it hard, it feels a little bit too much separated. So let's try it if we go just a tiny bit less than hard left and hard right. So minus 64 is a hard left. So let's do it at minus 60 and do the same thing on the other side. Will we hear the difference really between going at minus 64 and plus 64 on the other side compared to minus 60 and plus 60? Unless we listen to them in solo, I don't think it's going to make a big difference, but let's listen to it in the context of the mix. So panning them like that really made a difference. It releases the middle of the frequencies. So you're not the stereo image. It releases the middle, so it makes it more balanced. So let's go to this track. This track is one that is playing sort of a strumming, and I love it. So let's listen to it in solo. Yes, it's been recorded with microphones on the amp. It sounds a little bit more distant. But that's okay. We're going to take advantage of the room, and we're going to make it work. Now, if we listen to it in the context of the mix, right now, without panning. I believe it's at the right level. So let's do the same thing. Let's do a minus 60 on this side, and let's do a plus 60 on this side, and listen to it with the panning on. So you can totally hear the difference that now the guitars are on each side of the stereo image, which is wonderful, which releases the middle. Now, as for stereo, you go to the drum kit, and I like to have the hat. I almost always mix my drums on the audience perspective, meaning that the hat will be on your right and the drum fills will go from right to left. So if I go into my tom's bus, I will do the first tom, on the right. I will keep the medium tom in the middle, and I'll do the floor also the other way around on the left. Why am I not doing the hard left and hard right? Let me give you an image. When you're looking at a drummer do a fill, first of all, the toms are not like first tom here, first tom there, a second tom there, and the floor tom here. So if you understand what I'm saying, is that they are closer together. So you want tom 1, tom 2, and you might want to put the floor tom maybe a little bit far if you really want to have your audience, your listener, being able to feel it like it is viewed. It's like what you see, it's what you hear. So let's do it like that. And I've got some perks, I've got some congos, I've got a high and I've got a low. So I will do a -30 on this one, and I'll do a -30 on this one. I've got some shakers. I've got this one here that is present all across. So in this case, this one I could actually pan it a little bit on the left or a little bit on the right. But I don't think I need to do that because it's just a whoosh, whoosh. So I'm going to keep it right in the middle. I've got a shaker here. It comes in right here. So this one, I will do a hard left. And I've got a tambourine also. Tambourine playing at the same time. I'll give it a hard right. So let's have a listen. All right, so technically that's what I do. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of using the full stereo image. We have the luxury today of having stereo, and we have plenty much more with surround sound. But for me, I'm not there yet. So every time that I mix, I make sure that I fully utilize the full spectrum of the stereo width. Now, if you want to listen just a tiny bit of this song, this is a song that, well, for me, it's my actual first instrumental that I wrote. I did all the instruments, I wrote the chords, and my wife took care of the sax portion. I'll bring it where the guitars are starting right here. All right, so I won't make you listen to the full song, but you can easily hear that doing the tiny little panning that we did here and there actually makes that song sound more stereo and not bundled up all in the middle, which makes it very easier to listen. If you like content like this, please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and if I hope this will actually help you better mixes. And I thank you very much for watching. You can also leave me a comment. I do take the time to answer the comment. You can actually leave me a question if you want. If you want to send me an email, you can go on my website, which is somewhere on the screen, and just subscribe at the bottom, and I will send you my copy of my mixing guide. And also, you'll be able to send me emails directly if you have questions and if I can help. My job here is to help you. My job is not saying that I'm better than you. I'm just bringing new ideas to the table. Food for thought, if you want. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the other one.